For those who don't know, you know, we got Izzy, we got Owl of Archives, we got the Mint God, and we got your guy here, Hooks. All right, discussing all things Marvel, answering questions from the street.
Well, I don't need to do an intro now, man. You got it, so let's go.
What the hell? Damn it! I was prepared. I was like, all right, because I was just saying stuff. All right, good. The intro has started.
I mean, if you're gonna make an intro, then you made an intro. It's all good. Let's go.
All right, that's beautiful. All right, this is beautiful. Okay, everybody, we are meeting after episode 1 of Miss Marvel, which I particularly liked and I particularly enjoyed. It was a different take on the whole. On a lot of the shows I've seen so far, it was a very different take, but it does remind me of something related to it was like some Spider-Man joint I saw a while back. It just kind of reminded me of it. I'm trying to remember which one it was, but it kind of reminded me of that, like the way it was shot, and almost like a Deadpoolish type of thing, where she was jumping in and out of her reality, so to speak, to like narrate her story. That's what I took from it. What did y'all get?
It's rich with Easter eggs, so rich with Easter eggs that even people that I listen to catch 1 or 2 or 3 times, they saturated it with Easter eggs. Tells me a lot. The stuff that I did pick up on tells me a lot. Like, they look like they already have plans for season 2. What else? Iman Vellani is amazing. Love that girl. She is Miss Marvel for real. They nailed it with that actress for Kamala Khan. What else can I? Yeah. You gotta watch the first minute of the episode as many times as possible in slow motion.
Yes. Yes.
There's so much going on there, and it's not even just about Miss Marvel. There's clues in that first minute about what it looks like. There's clues in that first minute, not only about Miss Marvel, but about where Steve Rogers may have been. I'll just say that. That alone, people go back now and look. Yeah, I knew that. I'm not gonna say, there's something really dope. We now know how people have an idea about what happened at the Avenger compound. Like we now know how, the Rogers story, the Rogers musical got told. We now know, all of that. So
you worded that very well. I would have just snitched. You did good. Because I was really intrigued with it. As I was saying, you hit the nail on the head, guys. Literally, that first minute and some change is super important, and it doesn't look like it is. Like, compared to the rest of the show, it really is like very important. I was very, very intrigued by that.
Like, what were you saying?
Do you see any like future villains at the end?
We saw future villains in the first minute.
Wow.
Shout out to Malcolm Spellman, writer of Captain America 4. Alleged writer of Captain America 4, who's checking in with us and everything. Salute to you, sir. You know what I mean? I know you're not going to confirm whether or not that to do with what you're writing, but
somebody let me know.
Hopefully we'll get to build with you sooner than later about what you're doing with Marvel.
You just gave us an idea for who cleans up the mess when superheroes make mistakes.
Yeah, that would be another fire movie. That'd be a fire show right there.
And then in the Bugs Bunny cartoons, I'll assume it was Acme.
And Marvel is damage control.
Yeah.
You heard the Marvel's Damage Control.
Damage Control has a run about to start. I'm waiting on Damage Control issue number 1 right now.
Volume 2?
Yeah.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. And then as far as what you're talking about when it comes to, I mean, because obviously it sounds like, in time we're gonna all catch up to what each other's really watching and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But for the Marvel thing, that would be my favorite run. My favorite all-time run in a Marvel setting is Marvels, but the Volume 1 Kurt Busiek, Alex Ross covers, and it's because it's a photorealistic depiction of the age of Marvel, the beginning of the age of Marvel, set in the 60s and 70s, and from the view of normal people. So it's a dope series. I would recommend it to anybody. I got the whole series slabbed up. You know what I'm saying? Nothing less than a 9.6. In that, I would crack it open if I could get Alex Ross to sign it. But I'm just telling you, like, what you're talking about, Marvel has, as far as I'm concerned, has the best series to do it. And then the funny thing is now they're using that title for Captain Marvel 2 with the Marvels. You know what I mean? So I'm like a little disappointed because I know they're not gonna, do that. We already saw like behind the scenes pictures that it's gonna be a cosmic story. They're gonna be on a different planet, all of that, or a different dimension. Wherever they're gonna be, it's not gonna be set like Marvel. So Damage Control would be the next bet. Like if we could get a Disney Plus Damage Control show, that would be fire. That would be fire. Since we saw them in Spider-Man Homecoming already.
Yep.
That would be fire. With what's her name? Tiny? That lady from Cagney and Lacey?
Tyne Daly.
Tyne Daly, yeah.
I think that's her name. That
was another one of my mom's favorite shows growing up. So that's how I know who she is. You know what I'm saying?
No, that's good. Yo, you mentioned something. You said something, and I'm trying to see if I'm connecting everything right. He was like, well, we're not going to get that form of the Marvels. They're going to be doing something else. So that's you mean like as far as like the plot line of the up-and-coming Marvel movie?
Yeah. Like I've been getting information about Captain Marvel 2 for a minute. Probably about, it's going on over a year now. So, I knew that there was going to be some kind of a band, like whether it be the Nega Band or it's the Quantum Bands or something like that. I didn't know that it was going to be connected to Miss Marvel so early. I'm wondering if there's still going to be another band that's reintroduced in Marvel 2, Captain Marvel 2, but we know that Carol has got to go she's got to go back to the Kree home world to try to end the Kree Skull War. We know there's going to be some kind of quick death in the beginning, which is going to be somewhat of a red herring. And we definitely know that there's going to be some kind of significance with some kind of bands and something. So we saw the pictures of Iman Vellani and set up in another world. And we also know that Monica Rambeau is going to be in the movie, as well as Iman Vellani, alongside Brie Larson as Carol Danvers. So they say they call it the Marvels. So it's not going to be like what you were talking about, which is looking at something from, a regular human's point of view at the age of Marvel. Because it's called the Marvels, I'm already hedging, I hedged my bet that Blue Marvel was going to show up as well.
Whoa.
And
That would be deep.
That makes complete sense. I think Adam Brashear, that Marvel has to put Adam Brashear in there. So we got rumors that he's been cast by
it could be if it's the quantum bands, then that's a great way to tie in both the Eternals and S.W.O.R.D.
Tell us how.
All right. The quantum bands, in regards to humans from Earth, was worn by I forgot the guy's name, but Marvel Boy. That was his hero name. And he and his father lived with some Eternals on a colony in Uranus. The planet.
I'm pausing. I'm putting a big pause over this part of the movie.
Grow up, all right? Grow up.
All right. So years later...
I started pause in 1989. I'm giving everything. Let pause go for right now. That's a Harlem thing. It starts with me. R.I.P. my boy Izzy Ice. That's hip-hop history right there. Dame Dash know better than saying that he started pause.
My crew the best out. We invented pause for sure. There's nobody could ever say that I didn't. Nah, that's all of us. That came from my block.
He know that. So I want all the smoke with all of that. This is me. This is Mid God Illacoin speaking. All right. So no more pause games. We're talking comic books. It's gonna be that. Just say NH or something if you really feel some kind of way. But we got people that move that way. They feel that way. We got to show them that respect. We can't,
Get him, Pac!
Yeah.
So years later, the quantum bands show up on Wendell Vaughn, who at the time was a S.W.O.R.D. agent.
Right. Oh wait, so you're basically saying that you see a way that it could come in straight through the comic origin, not through something that we've already seen.
Yep. And if I recall correctly, Wendell Vaughn found the quantum bands in Project Pegasus, which we saw in the Captain Marvel.
Yes, but it got blown up.
Yeah, that's not the first time Project Pegasus has been blown up, even in the comics.
Not to mention, Project Pegasus in the MCU is not the same as Project Pegasus comic books, because Project Pegasus in the comic books was in the Adirondacks on the East Coast, and Project Pegasus in the MCU, from the looks of it, was in a desert, which I'm hoping is the penitentiary in She-Hulk. I'm hoping, just for my own geekdom or whatever, I'm hoping that it was built on the ruins of Project Pegasus, that the big house or whatever they're gonna call that penitentiary. You know what I'm saying? That would be dope. So yeah, please, I'm sorry, continue, sir.
Yeah, so I'm very much looking forward to seeing if they're gonna go that route, because it says we saw what's his name, was it Eon, the in the Thor trailer? Okay, that would fit. That they're halfway done into introducing the quantum bands, because I mean he was basically sort of like the creator of it anyway. Okay, and Quasar becomes basically his avatar for a time, his herald. So we'll see.
Yeah, I think we're, literally I just heard before we got on that Marvel has announced that they will be announcing they're back in Hall H in September this year. So they always do the big announcements, and they, if they're doing Hall H, then it sounds like they're getting ready to tell us whether they're still doing phases outwardly, because Kevin Feige says that basically phases really was an internal thing that just ended up being shown. So I don't know if they're gonna, there's no confirmation that we're really in phase 4, or if Marvel's gonna do something new with that. But since we know they're going to Hall H in September, I think we're gonna find out what's going on for the next 4 years. And I think it would actually take, I don't think it would take that long, but I think it would take past this year, past 2022, to be able to tell that story and have it make sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't see, when's the earliest you think we would see Wendell Vaughn?
Being that they have Jimmy Woo already in S.W.O.R.D,
right?
It could be any time, to be honest. It could be any time. Wendell Vaughn, once he became Quasar, was a backup S.W.O.R.D agent.
Mm-hmm.
So
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Because I never, I dropped off reading for a little bit, fatherhood duties and stuff like that. And I missed a lot of stuff. So when S.W.O.R.D came in, S.W.O.R.D was after, like, I learned about S.W.O.R.D. When did I learn about S.W.O.R.D? Or what was I reading? I was definitely reading, it would have to be, some X-Men stuff.
It was when that storyline where Kitty gets trapped in that intergalactic bullet.
Something like, it's all bundled. It's all up here, and I'm still trying to sort it all out. Like, really, like,
read the Astonishing X-Men motion comic. I think it's on Netflix or Hulu, one of those.
The Astonishing.
It has that storyline. It has it, and the readers are introduced to S.W.O.R.D.
The Astonishing what?
Astonishing X-Men motion comic.
The manga?
No, not the manga. It's based on the actual comic. They just made it in an animated form, like a motion comic form.
All right, I'm gonna check it out this weekend. So, who else? What other S.W.O.R.D? What other S.W.O.R.D or Shield agents would be really dope to
Beta
show
Ray
up?
Bill.
What?
Beta Ray Bill. He's a S.W.O.R.D agent.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And we're talking about the same S.W.O.R.D for WandaVision.
Yep.
Yeah. You remember that's Shield based. That's basically the cosmic version of Shield. You know what I'm saying? So now that Al's reminding us, like, who else was in S.W.O.R.D that was cosmic, Al? Because I know biggest one is obviously Abigail Brand, right? Everybody's waiting for Abigail Brand to show up, but she's a mutant.
Let's see.
Who's not a mutant that has cosmic ties?
The one character that's canon to both Marvel and the Transformers multiverse. Death's Head.
Okay,
Beast,
but not Transformers. Yeah. I'm talking about...
No, he's not. He himself is not a Cybertronian. He's not. He's just, he started out as a giant robot mercenary. He's not a Cybertronian. The one that recruited him, both Abigail Brand and Beast, because Beast was Abigail Brand's boyfriend, both recruited him as a S.W.O.R.D agent.
Right.
Okay? And he got paid big time by them.
Okay. So who else? So we got Beta Ray Bill, right? We got Wendell Vaughn.
Oh, Venom.
Yes, sir. Abigail Brand. What?
Abigail Brand, but she's not really cosmic though. I'm trying to figure.
She's half alien, half human. She has some kind of heat generation power. She got from being a hybrid.
Would we consider her a cosmic character though?
Not really, not necessarily. No.
So we got these cosmic. So the reason I'm asking is because we have these cosmic stories that are coming up. We got Thor, Love and Thunder. We got Guardians of the Galaxy, and then and we have Secret Invasion, right? It seems to drop off after that.
Well, Starfox could count. He's like he's done some missions for S.W.O.R.D.
Firm. That's not even. That's a like. I don't. Well, we got. What's that gonna be about? Like, is it gonna be about some guy who's walking around with the burden of Thanos being his brother? You know, and there's a lot of people got it messed up. Starfox is actually the older brother, isn't he?
I think they were born. They're a year apart, but I think Thanos is the older brother.
Well, I don't see that, because what doesn't make sense about that is their mom wanted to kill her.
Yeah, I think you're right. Because their mother, Susan, she went crazy after she gave birth to Thanos.
Right. She wouldn't have wanted to have another baby after she had those, right? You know what I'm saying? So people having it backwards about that. Starfox is actually, as far as I'm concerned, y'all can challenge me on it if anybody knows different. But as far as I'm concerned, Starfox is actually Thanos' older brother. So you guys got to get that right from what I'm hearing or whatever.
Wait, y'all talking about Arrows?
Yeah.
He's wait. The dude that's like wildly known for just having sex with a bunch of people.
Yep. Harry Styles playing Starfox in the Eternals. That dude. Like, I'm thinking if he's getting his own show, it's more because it's Harry Styles playing it and he's that popular to that generation or whatever. But as far as like that character getting his own show is not making me excited about.
It's not. Yeah, they need to build him up if they're gonna do it. They need to like go explore more of his history with his brother, because I know in the comics for a while he did stand up for his brother. Okay.
Right.
As a matter of fact, those two actually they celebrated the eternal version of Christmas, where one day a year they'd exchange gifts.
What'd you say? They what?
They celebrated the eternal version of Christmas. So one day a year they meet each other and exchange gifts.
That's fire.
Yeah, if you want to know who Thanos cared about the most, it wasn't his parents, okay? His mother, yeah, but the one that he really cared about the most after he murdered his mother was actually his brother.
Mm-hmm. The MCM, I been encouraged to call it. Shout out to Charles Murphy for that. He was the first one that I ever heard use that phrase. The MCM is like that, which is Marvel Cinematic Multiverse. In this conversation, obviously not globally, but it's so limited when it comes to the space adventures and stuff like that. Yeah. I think that's what's missing to take it to the next level. And I know Kevin Feige is a big fan of it. I've heard him say it himself. But I'm wondering why they weren't able to establish more of that with the Eternals movie. Because now there's like this big gap, and they're relying on 2 feature films and 1 Disney Plus show to give us, to fill in the blanks for what's been going on for so long. It doesn't feel right. It feels like they need to be focused on more of that. And I think you hit something when you said, the connection between S.W.O.R.D, S.W.O.R D, is definitely key to opening it up.
Yeah, I think the first the first S.W.O.R.D character we saw was Cosmo, the dog, the cosmonaut dog.
Okay, so we got Wendell Vaughn, Beta Ray Bill, Cosmo. Who else?
All right.
Real quick, when I looked up S.W.O.R.D real quick, the ones that pop up are Spider Woman, Beast, Death Head, Lockheed, and then they went into a story revolving around when Tony Stark lost his position in the Avengers and leader of S.H.I.E.L.D., that they pass it over to none other than Norman Osborn. I never heard that before. That's interesting.
Yeah. He sent Henry Peter Gyrick to run S.W.O.R.D.
Yeah, I can't wait till they show. Yo, when you see Gyrick in the MCU, that red bastard, yo, when we get him, you know it's, I mean, is this your lane right here? Speak on that. Like, what the X-Men, connection to cosmic. How do you see the MCU connecting to the cosmic stories through the X-Men?
Well, we could do it through Professor X.
Sorry. Go ahead, go ahead.
Yeah, you could take the easy way and do it through Professor X and back it up, or you could back it up and do it through Phoenix.
They already did the Phoenix one. If they do Phoenix first again, man, it's gonna. I mean, I know they got Echo, and they had that Easter egg where they started, you know,
they could do it through Cyclops and Havoc and his father, Starjammer, and all those guys.
That would be dope.
But they'll probably mess up the timeline of the Marvel MCU.
Why?
Because you have to really backtrack to tell that story. We had Havoc already in the MCU.
No.
You sure?
In First Class. Well, if you want to.
That's not MCU. That's not
MCU.
That's not
MCU. It's Marvel, though, but yeah.
Yeah. So it would be dope if we could just get, you know, there's a rumor that the spinoff or what's coming after Guardians of the Galaxy is the Annihilators. But what if instead of the Annihilators, and I've been praying for this for a long time, is what if the spinoff from the Guardians of the Galaxy were the Starjammers? What if we see the Guardians of the Galaxy number 3?
Who are the Starjammers?
Starjammers, they're led by Corsair.
Yeah.
Who is Scott Summers' father, as well as his brother, obviously, Alex Summers, and Gabriel Vulcan, who ends up being in space.
They're like space pirates.
Yeah,
exactly.
They basically, but they're funny as hell too. You know what I'm saying? So it would be in the same vein of Guardians of the Galaxy, but turned up even more. And they have dealings with the Shi'ar Empire, everybody else. Like, basically, to me, they're like the better version of the Ravagers.
Yeah, way better.
Like they're like the Ravagers mixed with Guardians of the Galaxy.
That's fire.
So tell that story. You know what I'm saying? That story automatically could be told in space, and then through Corsair, it could lead, the backstory of that would lead back to Earth with Scott and Alex.
The trial of Jean Grey.
Yeah.
Is that what you was referring to?
They're important there. The Starjammers are important there. But more importantly, the Starjammers know why Earth is so important to the Shi'ar, S.W.O.R.D, and Kree. There's a Stargate. Earth has a Stargate on top of a building. I don't know if it was in New York or whatever. But I know later on it was moved, and then there's a natural stargate near it. So whoever controls either of them can eventually control the Milky Way galaxy.
Wow. Huh.
Okay, and that's one of the reasons why S.W.O.R.D was founded.
So
to regulate intergalactic events.
Yeah.
We got to give is something to chew on here, Paul.
Wait, I got an idea. Idea though. It's piggybacking. Well, let's go back to something he said in our last meeting and connecting with something that you just got finished speaking about, Mint God. And last meeting, I asked him, when do you think is the next time we're going to see mutants in the MCU?
Maybe Rogue or Wolverine.
And where do you think Rogue will pop up?
And the next probably Captain Marvel.
So the Marvels movie.
Yeah.
And he responded by saying Rogue. And
Rogue
then I remember
that threw me off.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. So I think because the first time I heard this idea, it came from him, and then I had to go do digging. You remember what you told me is?
About Carol Danvers?
Yeah, like how Rogue ties
Mystique and all
into
that?
it. Yeah. How does that go? Put that on.
Well, Mystique was raising Rogue, and then she set on the mission. Was it to take her powers ultimately, or something else?
To try to beat her.
To try to beat her. But wait, I gotta remember. Well, the way it was in the cartoon, because that's when I went to go look it up. Rogue was overhearing Mystique speaking to, I forgot the lady's name, but it was like some woman that she had around. I forgot her name.
Destiny, that was her wife.
Destiny, there you go. Oh, there you go. That's the woman, and that's why she was around. Beautiful. Destiny revealed the fact that looking into the future, she sees that there's going to be a great fight between Rogue and Carol. And the fact that it was bothering her, she ran out and just confronted Miss Marvel. And it got into like a big fight where Rogue was like, what happened is?
She used her absorption powers on Carol for too long.
Yeah, like she held it. Like Mystique told her to hold it.
Yeah.
And then but that's how Rogue ended up getting strong. That's how she ended up getting flight. Yeah. So that's where her original like powers and stuff came from.
She also inherited a danger sense. Not as strong as Spidey's, but she inherited Carol's danger sense also, and invulnerability. But even without that, I mean, Thor learned the hard way that Rogue is a team buster when she chooses to be. I mean, she caught Cap off guard, ended up absorbing his talents, his martial arts skills. She caught Thor off guard, got his strength and durability and whatnot. The two people that she wasn't able to absorb powers were Vision and Wonder Man, at least initially in the comic. And she did all of that when she was like 18. Okay, so
that's crazy.
Yeah, I think that incident with Carol came sometime after that.
Didn't that lead also to officially almost Captain Marvel ended up basically joining X-Men before Rogue.
No, you're thinking Binary. Binary joined the Starjammers.
Because there was something where they formed like a relationship in like after she lost her powers to Rogue, because Rogue wasn't with X-Men. Rogue was not with the X-Men at that time. Rogue was with Mystique during that fight. Are you sure about that? Because I saw the video.
You're thinking about in the cartoon. In the comic,
that was the Brotherhood.
In the comic, went through the Siege Perilous.
No,
he got split into two. when she came out. One half was a Rogue, and the other half was the Carol Danvers part that she absorbed. And she beat the Carol Danvers part, but refused to kill that part.
But that was only with the help of Magneto.
The Carol Danvers part went to kill her and almost succeeded, but Magneto killed that Carol Danvers part.
Yeah,
it's weird. So Rogue was powerless for a while afterwards. Eventually, she regained her powers, including
eventually.
Carol.
Yeah, because then eventually Carol got her powers, and I saw that like she ended up having another meetup with Rogue, where she one punch knocked Rogue all the way into like.
I had that issue. That was binary. She became even more powerful thanks to being experimented on by the Brood scientists. She one punched Rogue so hard, put Rogue into near lunar orbit. It was hilarious.
That is amazing. That's pain for you.
It was very interesting that a connection between Carol Danvers and the Starjammers was made in this conversation, and we were trying to figure out how the MCU could expand the cosmic side.
I want to say one thing. It would be kind of difficult because you would have to put Captain Marvel as a member of the Guardians of the Galaxy, which would move the storyline just crazier. Because she was a member of Guardians of the Galaxy.
She was?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't remember that because I didn't read that book like that. I was not a Guardians of the Galaxy fan. That just never happened. If I have any here, they're because of the Annihilation story. You know what I'm saying? I really
she's a pilot.
Huh?
So, she's a pilot, so
right.
It would make sense for her to, and that would bring like the storyline of the Jammers in there.
Since they don't have them cosmic characters, for her to be the connection between S.W.O.R.D, because she was a member of S.W.O.R D, she leaded S.W.O.R D. It was named what was the name switched to?
It was switched to Alpha Flight for a while.
Hammer?
Right.
No, S.H.I.E.L.D. The name of S.H.I.E.L.D. was switched to Hammer by Norman Osborn. Okay?
Right.
S.W.O.R D was still active, but it was under the control of both Agent Brand and Gyrick. Gyrick tried to take it all over. He wanted to isolate. He wanted Earth to and the solar system to be only for Earthlings.
So when did Carol become the leader of that base?
Oh, you mean all right? Carol became the leader when she became leader of Alpha Flight. They kind of merged Alpha Flight with S.W.O.R D for a while.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that was in the Secret Empire storyline.
So because of what we have in the MCU already, based on what we're talking about, now I finally see how they can. It's still not as vast as the cosmic stories Marvel actually has, but I can see, okay, they're gonna need to give Carol a really specific storyline. They already have Monica tied into S.W.O.R D. Monica's gonna be in Captain Marvel 2. Carol is already, it's her movie, right? So those two, if they can bring Adam Brashear as like a lead scientist or something, a S.W.O.R D or something, then you have, the Ultimates. You have the three most powerful members of the Ultimates right there. Then you can go
Adam Warlock.
He's a member of the
he sold the cocoon already in the MCU.
Like that. That's another cosmic connection. Adam Warlock. He was at the end of Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah. He's not out of his cocoon. Where did you see he's out of his cocoon?
No, I'm saying that could be the next connection. I was over here. I think I'm still in the past. I was thinking about like a cosmic connection, but it just hit me. I was like Adam Warlock.
Yeah. And then there's the Elders of the Universe.
Yeah, but they're not there yet. I'm talking about. I'm talking about.
Electro was there. the collector, the game master was there.
Oh, you're talking about, my bad. I'm thinking about Chthon and you know.
And we saw Ego.
Right. So
no, yeah.
These are
because they were just quiet. Yeah.
There's a lot of quiet ones. Now I'm realizing that I didn't realize before this conversation. There's a lot of quiet cosmic characters that actually have connective tissue. So it's something to think about. But folks, get to the questions from the street, man, because we got to wrap up. So
yeah, we got to hear them.
I'm not spoiler sensitive, so go ahead.
He whips out the turtle.
They want to hear from you. Yes, it's time to go.
It'll be a great end right there. That start from that laugh. That's gonna be crazy. I love it.
Yes. So bingo. The first question is, when do you think the timeline of some? Actually, this is great. This falls into something you mentioned, CJ, related to the secrets that we got during watching the show. Okay, they wanted to know the timeline on this Ant-Man podcast. Like, when do you think it came out, and how many things you think from the moment it came out, that how many things you think it could have revealed? You revealed one of the answers already by saying now we know how the ideas of that musical was made, you know, right. And all the way up until the point that now they have something like Avengers Con that is a little spoiler right there. But when do you think that Ant-Man would have dropped this podcast?
So the last time we saw Scott was at Tony's funeral. We haven't seen him since. We know Quantumania is coming, and that's gonna fill us in on what he's been up to. As far as MCU related characters that we've seen, the first one that comes to mind would be Sam Wilson, Falcon. The next one obviously is going to be Hawkeye. So somewhere in between Falcon and the Winter Soldier and Hawkeye, Scott decided to start talking. And I think it's probably closer to Falcon and the Winter Soldier, between the timelines of like Falcon and the Winter Soldier and WandaVision, because they would need time to sensationalize the story, and then remember the Rogers the musical included Ant-Man in it, and we were all what the hell was Ant-Man doing in the Battle of New York? So what it sounds like is because of the podcast. Remember, Scott went back in time in the time heist to get the reality stones. I think it sounds like Scott said something about how he was in the Battle of New York, and you know how he tells those weird stories like in Ant-Man and the Wasp and stuff, and he was trying to tell how he saw Wasp in the Janet Van Dyne, like how he saw her in the quantum. Couldn't tell. You can just hear that kind of talk in the podcast, and him lose, and then you got kids like Kamala listening to him and not really understanding, and then also they're all projecting their fandom on whatever. So she's thinking about Captain Marvel, and you can just see like he said it sounds like he said that he was in the Battle of New York, and he was, but that timeline got erased. But he didn't, because back in this timeline. So it confused everybody to thinking that they saw Ant-Man be a part of the Battle of New York. So,
wonderful. I love that.
It has to be before Hawkeye. It has to be a considerable amount of time before Hawkeye for them to get it messed up to think that Ant-Man was in the actual Battle of New York. That's my answer.
Wonderful. I love it. Now, I don't know if this is a touchy subject for us to talk about, but I'm going to do it. Next question from the street. Here we go, everyone.
Frenchie, we named Turtle Frenchie, by the way.
You got a name. He has a name. Say hi, Frenchie. This is great. All right, you taking my time. All right, awesome. Now, we have these text messages where, we're able to just talk. That's what formed this entire thing. Now, in the text message, there was a picture of a symbol of a bird, and you said something along the lines of the inventor.
Oh, yeah.
Do you think that may have a connection to her friend Bruno?
Yes, has to. So just because of what I said, like so in the beginning, shout out New Rock Stars. Always watch them. I'm a big fan of Eric Voss. Before we got on and I was getting ready, I put New Rock Stars on in the background or whatever, and I heard him mention the bird in the intro of Miss Marvel episode 1. But he basically said, "Oh, it's a bird with Carol Danvers' haircut," and I thought that was funny. Shows that either he's being funny or facetious, or he really isn't even aware of the Miss Marvel lore, right? So what it looked like to me was Bruno's her best friend, right? Later in the episode, we see Edison Electronics advertising with Miss Marvel's symbol right next to it, which is a lightning bolt. We know that the Inventor is one of her first biggest villains, who is, the Inventor is the clone of Thomas Edison, that guy whose DNA was contaminated with cockatiel bird, right? So that,
and his brother looks like Albert Einstein.
Exactly. Well, his inventor. That's his inventor.
Collector. With the wild hair.
No, you're talking. You mean no. We're not talking about. We're not talking about Contest of Champions and all that. We're talking about Miss Marvel.
Oh.
So the Inventor is basically an evil clone of Thomas Edison, whose DNA was mixed with a cockatiel. So it's a big bird, humanoid bird. But it's Thomas Edison, and it was invented by this other guy. I think his name is Gregory Knox. I can't remember. But a lot of us don't really know. You know what I mean? Like, Miss Marvel is she's one of the biggest new characters. So we don't all know her story like that yet, which is what gave Marvel the freedom to change her powers, change how she got her powers. And there's not as many people, not as many people that are being listened to, I should say, because I heard the uproar about how they changed their powers, but they taken liberties with Miss Marvel. So anyway, the cockatiel in the beginning had question marks around it. So what it looked like to me was there was a rumor about some kind of bird, and obviously must have heard it from Bruno, and it was like this mystery, and it's going to be centered around Circle Q, the sewers in Jersey City, and Bruno, who is an inventor himself in, you know what I'm saying, in the story, as well as, you know, I'm not sure how much of an inventor he is in the comic books, because I haven't, you know, I'm just collecting them. I read single issues. I don't like reading the omnibus, and I haven't had time to like just go through it. But I believe that they're setting up the inventor. I'm happy. There was a rumor that what's the dude, Fraser? What's the real name?
Brendan Fraser?
No, Fraser from Cheers.
Oh,
wow.
Geez, why can't we remember? This is the High Council.
I ain't watched it. Yeah, but I ain't watched Cheers.
He has a history of actually doing voiceover work for comic book related stuff.
What? He's one of the big Kelsey Grammer. There's a rumor Kelsey Grammer's working with Marvel, and we're all wondering if he's going to end up becoming, you know, the inventor. And I don't know if I answered your question.
No, you actually did. You actually did. I wanted to get a chance for you to get that out too, just in case you was dropping some info out there that no one knew.
Yeah,
I hope so.
I'm gonna put another theory out there that my boy Hooks put me on to today, and this is how I'm ending what I gotta say today. Marvel, there is a quick scene where she is drawn Captain America, Steve Rogers, Captain America, monsters with these types of God, what do you call these? Onomatopoeias. What's that word? Onomatopoeias. The
Onomatopoeias.
Onomatopoeia.
Onomatopoeia.
I don't want to pee now.
So anyway, the words that make the sounds and
Onomatopoeias.
Make sound. It's onomatopoeia.
Onomatopoeia.
And it's the
God bless you.
It's a big hiss. And
yes,
what that said to me was we might actually be getting a Captain America 4 that approaches the story of the children of Set, which is not really Set's children, right? It's Sliggers.
You mean Sliggers and Damballa.
Right. So the children of Sliggers.
Think about the Serpent Men. The
children of the Snake, right? Which they could still also connect to the Serpent Crown, since we're getting Namor, right?
Yeah.
Or it could be just the Serpent Society, and it's just the whole history of the children of the Snake. We never saw. I have no understanding or what happened to Steve Rogers after he left to go through the to put the stones back, right? He came back old. We know that the TVA was cleaning up a bunch of timelines. Sylvie messed that up. Somewhere something happened to Steve that allowed him to get old. We still need and want that story. And then we see this picture of Steve Rogers fighting Snake Man. All I'm saying is, on this note, I'm dropping the mic on that. We might actually have seen our first Easter egg as to what happened to Steve Rogers and what we should be expecting in Captain America 4.
If you're going to go Easter egg, that means it is 2 more Easter eggs if you got the Serpent Men. We may see at least a backstory in regards to the history of the Serpent Crown, or we may see Conan and we may see Cole.
I would say it'd be more likely we see Cole before we see Conan because of because of
the fact that Cole, and this is canon and Marvel as well as Dark Horse, Cole was the last human to slay the last Serpent Man that appeared on Earth. After that, the serpent folk did not show up. They had to be brought in from other dimensions,
which is the multiverse, and it's also a great villain or a great foil for Sam Wilson, because there can be a lot of them, but they're not so powerful that Sam can't fight them and beat them with some help. And we're trying to figure out what's a good what would be a good antagonist for the new Captain America who doesn't have any powers. You know what I'm saying? And is gonna go through a diehard situation, a diehard type scenario, you know, to find his next level of superpower and also find his strength to be able to lead the next generation of the Avengers. So been anticipating that, been waiting to see something about Steve Rogers. Y'all got to start watching on time, man, because
there's a lot I can't even talk
Marvel
about right now.
Fire. It's not about her being a kid, or it's for kids, the only kid. No, it's about having imagination and loving, and just it's about having imagination. It's about being able to see things the Marvel way. That's all it's about.
It's for the dreamer.
Thank you, everybody, for paying attention to episode 2 of Canon Talk with the High Council. Hopefully you've been entertained, educated. Please leave comments, press like, subscribe, and follow us and subscribe to www.inthenameofcomics.com so that you can be made aware when these videos and other videos, as well as pilots to shows, start to come to YouTube, and when we start doing our next event. You already missed our first launch event, and we will have a recap of that. But thank you, guys.
Thank you.
All right. Have a good night. God bless.
It's a wrap.
See you again.
Canon.
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 God.